we are going to cover 4 examples involving long division. In the first example, there are 2 whole numbers, which its answer is also a whole number. The second example is also 2 whole numbers, but its answer is a decimal value. The third example is a whole number divided by a decimal value. And the last example is a decimal value divided by a whole number. Knowing all 4 of these would prepare you for any calculations involving long division. First question, 168 divided by 2. If you are not comfortable with your times table, you can add the multiples of the divisor, which is 2, onto your page. Here is the multiples of 2. We start off by looking at the first value, which is 1. 1 is too small to be divided by 2, so we put a dot above the 1. Now we group the 1 and the 6 to give us 16, and 16 can be divided by 2, which is 8. So put 8 above the 6. To carry on with the calculations, you need to multiply 8 by 2 and write it down under the 16. Next, draw a line underneath your 16 and subtract 16 from the number above it, which is also 16. 16 minus 16 is 0, so I'll put a dot under the line. You need to divide this new line's number by 2, but since it is 0, you can't, so you need to borrow a value. You get the new value by dropping down the 8 from the 168, and now you can divide 8 by 2, which is 4. You have no remainders left, and thus you have your answer. 168 divided by 2 is 84. The second example, 965 divided by 4, is a bit different because your answer will have a decimal value. So you can start off with listing your multiples of 4, like so. Check and see if the first number underneath the division box can be divided by 2. And yes, 4 goes 2 times into 9. To carry on, multiply this 2 by 4 and write its answer underneath the 9. Subtract this value, 8, from 9, and you get 1. Now 4 does not go into 1, so we have to borrow a value. Bring the 6 down to make it 16. Now 4 does go into 16. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Yet again, multiply your new value, 4, by the divisor, which is also 4. 4 times 4 is 16, so write down 16 underneath. Subtract these two values from each other, both being 16, and you will get 0, which I will show as a dot. 4 does not go into 0, so you need to borrow a value from up top. Bring the 5 down. 4 does go into 5. It goes into 5 one time, so write 1 above your long division symbol. Since 5 divided by 2 does not give you a whole number, you have to carry on the calculations by looking at decimal values. You can write 965.0000, as many zeros as you like or need. 1 times 4 is 4, so 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 does not go into 1, so you have to borrow a 0 from above. Your new value is 10, and 4 does indeed go into 10. It goes into 10 2 times, so write the 2 above the first decimal place. 2 times 4 is 8, and write the 8 underneath the 10 and subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. 4 does not go into 2, so borrow another decimal value from up top. The 2 changes into a 20. And 20 divided by 4 gives you a whole number, which is 5. And now you can end off your calculation. 965 divided by 4 is 241.25. Third example, 48 divided by 3.2. Here we can see that we are now dividing by something that has a decimal value. To get rid of the decimal value, multiply both of the numbers by 10. If you were to divide by 3.25, then you would have multiplied the answers by 100. It depends on how many decimal places there are. 48 divided by 3.2 will give you the same answer as 480 divided by 32. So you can do this way. Here it's a bit more handy to write down the multiples of the divisor 32. We start off by seeing that 32 goes into 4, which it doesn't, so I'll show it with a dot above the 4. 32 does indeed go into 48. It does once, so you can write a 1 above the 8. To continue, multiply this 1 by 32 and write it underneath the 48. 8 minus 2 is 6, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So 48 minus 32 is 16. 32 does not go into 16, so we need to borrow a value from above. Bring the 0 down to make it 160, and 32 does go into 160. Expand your list of multiples, then see that 32 goes into 160 exactly 5 times. Write 5 above the division symbol and you are done with this calculation, because 5 times 32 will give you 160, and 160 minus 160 is 0. So you don't have any remainders or decimals in your answer. So 48 divided by 3.2 is 15. The fourth example involves a decimal number divided by a whole number. Your first steps are to write a comma or a dot above the line, above the other dot, then list your multiples of 5. 5 does go into 6, it does one time. 1 times 5 is 5, and write down this 5 underneath the 6. Subtract 5 from 6 to give you 1. 5 does not go into 1, so you need to borrow a value. Borrow the number next to the 6, which is 1, and bring it down to make 11. 5 does go into 11. It goes into 11 2 times, so write 2 above the division symbol. To carry on, multiply 2 by 5 to get 10, and write the 10 underneath the 11. 11 minus 10 is 1. And yet again, 5 does not go into 1, so borrow the value of 5 up top and bring it down. 5 does go into 15. It does exactly 3 times. So write 3 up top and you are finished. 61.5 divided by 5 is 12.3. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you understand long division a little bit better now. Good luck on your math journey.